Welcome back to High Class Gear. Get yourself ready for another great video. You won't find anyone with more realistic and intriguing stories from the big 80s and the weird 90s than this channel. If you came here looking for something strange, creepy, car chases, police fights, stupid mistakes that came back to get me, or even for a little bit of knowledge, you've definitely come to the right place. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you stay up to date with all the great content coming your way. The following story takes place in the year 1982 when I was 8 years old. I had narrowly survived getting to the pickup spot and getting from there to the bus. The bus moved very slow, maybe it was still damaged by all the rocks and stuff thrown at it. The two back wheels were making a grinding noise and the whole bus swayed a little bit from side to side. I wondered just how bad this would get. The bus took a sharp left and pulled into a large open area after crossing some yellow lines. I looked out the emergency door window and could see the sign in large letters, Education Industrial Complex. Then above it read, Department of Education, and above that was the name of the school. Wait, was that a bullet hole through the center of the name of the school? Not a good sign. I kept my composure, realizing that if I made it this far, there's not too much worse they could do to me. I would later live to regret that moment of confidence I showed. Soon, the bus pulled in front of an oblong building, and there were painted-in squares where children and adults were standing in pre-planned places. The bus then came to a sharp stop that jolted us, and we heard the hiss of the air brakes. The bus driver used the bus loudspeaker to tell us that we all needed to line up in twos and start to get off the bus in an orderly manner. I swung my book bag over my right shoulder and waited until everyone else had gone and it was just me and my new Mexican friend left. On the ride, he'd informed me his name was Ignacio, but that I could call him Taco. So here we were. I told him to go first and stepped off the bus as the last person. I looked around and there were adults barking orders. Over there! Over there! Over there! Go! 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 One adult shouted to each group of two children that was set off on a run in each direction. They told us to go, but when we went to turn right like the other kids, they told us to go left instead. No, you two are over there. Special education, special education. A tall man with a name tag reading Mr. Anderson coaxed us. We obliged and got in line, but it was just myself and Taco. Then a small yellow bus pulled up and a whole group of disabled kids got off the bus and were herded over to our side. Now the adults told us to line up, not looking side to side but looking straight ahead and to go forward. We walked through the school grounds, nothing but gray and angry-looking concrete looking back at us. The day was overcast and the heat was making steam come off the concrete. The place looked like it was from the time of the Wild West or maybe older. The school looked run down, but you could tell they wanted it to look newer, so they painted everything with green and gold school colors to try to make it look nice. But the paint couldn't hide the rot I could see underneath it. So now I hated the bus, and I hated this school, but I knew I had to suffer through it. We kept on and entered the classroom. The desks were lined up well, and in the front of the class, as my mother and father had warned me, was the American flag in a holding post, above the door and facing the class. Like all American flags, it was in the part of the classroom that would be facing Washington, D.C. We were on a seating plan, so Taco and I were separated. We had to sit in different rows. He was in the row right next to me and was in the desk just next door to me. At least I had my buddy. I put my bag in the rack under the desk and just then, it started. At the front of the class, an intercom came on and the man introduced himself as the principal of the school, and that everyone should stand and place his hand on his heart, facing the flag, and make the declaration. This was called the Pledge of Allegiance. He read it out. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Some of the students held their hands out, as if saluting that image, while others put their hands over their hearts. A few others fell prostrate. I looked to my right and Taco was still seated, and so was I. Taco was a Jehovah's Witness, and as such was not to take part in any rituals or declarations of obedience like this at all. I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, but my religion and culture also forbade me from pledging undying allegiance to a government, flag, or institution. We'd already been through the communist attempts to impose Marx and Engels on us, and we rejected that. This would be no different. This strange form of allegiance and giving almost divine powers to an idea, flag, and country puzzled me and seemed strange. The adult leading the class, Mr. Anderson from earlier, looked at us not standing and hailing the flag, and immediately turned beet red in the face in anger. Once the Pledge of Allegiance concluded, he commanded the class to sit, and then looked upon us with contempt. "Come here, you little bastards," he commanded. Before we could rise to go meet him, he'd briskly walked over to our desks and grabbed us both by the arm, lifting us up and over our desks. "You ungrateful little bastards, after all this country's done for you," Mr. Anderson raged. We were pulled outside of the class, isolated from the rest of the children, and frog marched down the hall. Mr. Anderson said something about us going to the principal's office. We received a strong talking to from Mrs. Slater, the first female principal in the state, and she said another Pledge of Allegiance is coming in the afternoon and we better get our asses in gear. In the meantime, she commanded us through her face caked in cheap makeup. "You will watch films about America's greatness, its accomplishments, and how we will defeat the Soviet Union. This will let you know the danger the world is in, and how America is the only nation that can save civilization." She gave us both a stern nod. What I learned that day was that although the principal, Mr. Anderson, and all the people there claimed to be saving the world, they were no different from the very people they say they hated. They demanded people take oaths, brought the government and dirt that makes up the country to a divine status, made a them versus us dynamic, quelled and crushed dissent, and overall gave fanatical devotion to false and unproven hierarchies. And to top it all off, the day hadn't even started yet. If you enjoy these videos and what we do here, subscribe to the High Class Gear channel, give us a like, and hit the notification bell so you always get updates on new content every week. Stay safe out there.